football coach of the Patriots. We'll have much more on this story coming up tonight on Football Friday.
All right, that's it for us. Have a great weekend.
The views expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent the views of the staff and management of WVUA 23.
Bringing you analysis and insight into the Crimson Tide. Your Crimson cover hosts, John Copeland, Mike Parker, and Chase Goodbread. Sponsored by Burnham Hahn and by Crimson Village.
Welcome into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. I'm Chase Goodbread, the sports columnist with the Tuscaloosa News. John Copeland, former Alabama All-American defensive end, 8-year NFL veteran, alongside, of course, our third co-host, Mike Parker, unable to be with us this evening. We are going to be hearing from Mike later in the program with the Parker's Point segment. We got a lot to get to here on this edition of CCTV. We're going to preview, of course, that Alabama-LSU game, huge one, down in Baton Rouge. An injury update for you for the Crimson Tide football team. Vodney Cleveland, the latest football prospect to commit to Kalen DeBoer and his staff. We'll show you some highlights of him. Alabama basketball had its men's season opener against UNC Asheville. We will take a look at that game. We got the picks contest. Got a lot going on. Crimson Cover ticker coming at you. Plenty to go. But we start looking at Alabama against LSU, the Crimson Tide going on the road on Saturday to Baton Rouge. Alabama 6-2 on the year, 3-2 in SEC play. LSU, same overall record, 6-2, but a little bit better record in SEC play. LSU just they're 3-1 in the league, just one loss for the Tigers. 6:30 p.m. kickoff Central Time. It'll be broadcast on ABC. And there you see a quick look at the reset. John, Alabama comes in, season on the line for the Crimson Tide. Same with LSU when it comes to the college football playoff. At this point, and look, the college football playoff rankings just came out this week. We got a lot of football left to go. But, John, basically, I think conventional logic, and I agree with that at this point, is that there won't be any three-loss teams in the playoff. So if you're Alabama and LSU, you're both sitting at 6-2. You lose this game, you're pretty much out of it. And probably should be out.
I agree. But Chase, I think at this point in the season, a two-loss team, if you're 6-1 right now and you lose at this point in the season, you're probably still out.
You think there are going to be some two-loss teams getting left home?
I think so. Could be. Because at this point in the season, it's win or go home.
Win or go home. Alabama comes in again, 6-2, losses to Vanderbilt and Tennessee. When the college football playoff selection committee,
Vandy loss is not as bad as we thought it was.
That's what I was about to touch on. Yeah. You're right. They gave Texas all they wanted, lost that game by 3 points, just beat Auburn, as we know, beat them by double digits at Auburn. Vanderbilt can play a little bit. There's no doubt about it. I think the win over Georgia will help and has helped Alabama really with these CFP selection committee. Alabama ranked 11th in the initial CFP rankings. Well, if you're 11th and you knock off LSU and then you run the table from there, going to be hard to leave them out. I think a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, if they run the table, they're in without a question. Then if they run the table, now you're talking about where do we put them in the ranking?
Right.
Because if you run the table, you still have LSU, you still got Oklahoma, you still got Auburn. So win out, you're talking maybe 6.
And
6
really,
and 7.
If you're Alabama or probably any of these two-loss teams, John, you're probably better off not going to the SEC championship game, right? Because if you sneak in, so if Alabama happened to get lucky and sneak into the SEC championship game with 2 losses, they lose that one, they can be out of the playoffs.
Out of the playoffs, there's no question.
Question. Something to watch for sure. A lot of noise at Tiger Stadium, John. We saw Alabama struggle in the second half against Tennessee in Knoxville with crowd noise. You know it gets noisy down in Baton Rouge, especially for night games. This will be a night game. How do you think Alabama handles the noise down there?
You know, Chase, all week I'm sure they're in that indoor facility. They got the noise cranked all the way up, but it's still artificial noise. There's nothing to prepare yourself for being in a stadium of this caliber with the noise level that is going to be. It's going to come down to leadership. It's going to come down to experience, and it's going to come down to executing the game plan. If you can't do that, you're not going to win a tough game on the road.
All right, a quick preview of the LSU Tigers. Some players to watch offensively. Quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, son of Doug Nussmeier, who, of course, was briefly an offensive coordinator for Nick Saban at Alabama. Kyron Lacey, tremendous wide receiver on the outside for LSU. Doesn't play a lot in the slot, plays mostly outside, averaging 15 yards a catch. He's a deep threat. Somebody Alabama's going to have trouble with. Tight end Mason Taylor, one of the better tight ends in the SEC as well. Defensively, John, couple of defensive ends, Braden Swinson and Savion Jones, can get after the quarterback. More on that after our first commercial break. Linebacker Whit Weeks, one to watch as well. John, Parker's Point this week. Mike Parker chiming in with a question on this, well, a proposition, not a question, on this Alabama-LSU game. Parker's saying interceptions for Alabama off of Nussmeier. He's setting the over-under at 1.5. Over or under?
I'm going to say over, because if you don't, and not necessarily interception, but if Alabama doesn't get any turnovers, they lose the football game.
That's what they've been doing lately, right? They've had 10 takeaways their last 3 games. They got to do it.
They have to.
And Garrett Nussmeier is a talented kid with a big arm, but he will throw the pick. He will throw it to the other team every once in a while.
We've gotten better in the secondary. We've gotten better on defense overall in the last few weeks.
Yeah, both quarterbacks capable of throwing a couple picks. It's just,
not Muro.
It's just what?
We fixed that.
Did you see the Vanderbilt game?
Yeah, we fixed that.
All right.
Stop hating. We fixed that.
At any rate, Garrett Nussmeier, a dangerous quarterback, definitely, though, a guy who occasionally throws it to the other squad. Injury update for you. Wide receiver Cole Adams out for the season. Kalen DeBoer announced that on Monday. He's been a reliable receiver in the rotation for Alabama. Not a starter, but a guy who's come in and played and given them some nice reps at wide receiver. But also, John, he's their most reliable punt returner. He's out of that role now. Ryan Williams and Jalen Mbakwe, a couple of freshmen, are going to be taking that role over.
Explosive freshmen.
They're explosive.
No question.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Adams, though, John, to me, just looked so comfortable catching punts. Looked so comfortable making the right decision. Do I let it go? Do I let it bounce? Do I make the fair catch? That kind of thing.
And that's important. When you're looking for the guy that's going to catch those points, you're not necessarily looking for the guy that is so dynamic, because they are so few and far in between. You want the guy that can get the possession, and Adam, I think, have done a phenomenal job with that.
All right, we promised you after the break we'd talk a little bit more about Alabama and the LSU pass rush. How will the Crimson Tide handle it? We're going to touch on that. We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer in that regard as well. Stick around. You're watching Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23.
Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its 3rd generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
HBCU Go Sports, providing fans with unparalleled access to all the sounds, flavor, and pageantry of historically black colleges and universities. HBCU Go Football returns this Saturday on HBCU Go Sports. The Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils take on the Jackson State Tigers, Saturday, November 9th, 3-2 Central.
Saturday at 2 p.m. on WVUA 23.
We want to congratulate you. You are this month's featured teacher.
Every May, when we walk those students across the stage, and we can look at them and go, they're ready for college, they're ready for a job, they're ready to join the military. They leave Berry High School going, we're ready for life. That's what it's all about.
Jeff Banks, WVUA 23's featured teacher winner, sponsored by Shelton State and Bryant Bank. Never miss out on local news again with WVUA 23. Download our free mobile app and smart TV apps to stay connected no matter where you are. Watch live streaming news, weather, and sports, or catch up on the stories you want whenever you want to. Whether you're on the go or on the comfort of your own couch, WVUA 23 is keeping you informed with local news that matters to you, your town, your news. Download today.
Welcome back to Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. This segment brought to you by Burnham Hahn Exterminators and that great local service here in Tuscaloosa since 1946. Burnham Hahn offers complete pest and termite services for residential needs, commercial needs. They've got the mosquito control and the fire ant treatments, and of course they are licensed operators of the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. It's a year-round service that every homeowner ought to have. Give Clay Hahn and his staff a call for a monthly or quarterly pest control program. You can reach him at 553-4433 or go online and visit burnhamhahn.com. So much to get to. These last couple of segments, John, will begin with this LSU pass rush. Couple of big-time defensive ends, Braden Swinson, Savion Jones, come off that edge for the LSU Tigers. They've got 12.5 sacks between them with 4 games to go left in the regular season. It's going to be difficult. Harold Perkins, by the way, the one of the best 2 or 3 defensive players in the whole SEC, in my opinion, an LSU linebacker who also could get after the passer. He's out for the season with an injury. Big-time blow to LSU. He was lost not recently. It's been several weeks. But even without him, John, these defensive ends can get after the quarterback.
When you look at Alabama offense, the totality of it throughout the entire season, sacks, penalties, is causing this offense, I think, 4 or 5 possession a game. The giving up, whether that be offensive lines not blocking or whether that be the quarterback is holding on the ball too long. And the holding penalties in the passing game. Take those away, and Alabama is not a bad defense because they get more possession. It's been it was the same thing when Nick Saban was here. It haven't improved since his last couple of years.
All right, Elijah Pritchett, the Crimson Tide right tackle, definitely going to be challenged this week by that Tigers pass rush. Kalen DeBoer asked this week how Pritchett's progressing, how he might handle that. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I think Elijah's got a ton of potential, and a lot of things that he's grown in. There's always the areas, and at this time of the year, there's enough film on someone to where teams attack you certain ways, and whether we're talking about the tackle position or it could be anywhere, defensive back, defensive line. You put on film as a team, as an individual. The things that opponents are going to look at, and so he's continuing to work hard every single day. I mean, he comes out to practice. He's competitive. I feel like his growth has been kind of proven over the year. I think there's a consistency to him that is higher than what it was at the beginning or even the middle of the season. And, that's what you're looking for. That's all you can ask in your players is that they continue to grow. They can continue to, improve. And he's doing that. And, we'll continue to help him as coaches. That's our job.
All right, John, what about it?
We've been doing this show for 10 years. And to me, it's...
Let me correct you. It's been 14.
Well, 14.
We've been on the air 14 years here on WVUA.
And every presser sound exactly the same. This guy's good. He need doing this. He come out to practice. Nobody have got on TV on the press conference and said, "Man, this guy sucks. We need to try to get somebody else to do." We need to get some. It's the same. You get the same mumbo jumbo, no matter what player they're talking about. Sound like you can close your eyes, and it doesn't matter the coach. It's going to be the same.
That's fair. That's fair. Pritchett's been up and down this season. Had a couple good games, had a couple rough games where he's allowed a lot of pressure on the quarterback. We'll see how he holds up on the right side. Caden Proctor, by the way, on the left side, he's been much more consistent as a pass protector and a run blocker this season. He's been much better than he was last year as a freshman. All right, recruiting now really quickly. Some highlights for you of the Crimson Tide's latest commitment. Defensive lineman Vodney Cleveland, 6'3", 305 pounds, out of Birmingham Parker High School. Commits to Alabama not for the 2025 class, but 2026.
305.
Right?
Those are the type of linemen he wants.
Yeah.
Those that can move a little bit better. That's what he wants for his
and what he needs.
Yes, and that's his philosophy though. He wants them a little bit smaller, can move a little bit better.
Committed for the class of 2026, so he's just a junior this fall, be a senior next fall, and then at Alabama in the fall of 2026. Also considered Auburn and Tennessee, did Vodney Cleveland. All right, Alabama basketball now. We'll take a look at the Crimson Tide's season opener against UNC Asheville at Coleman Coliseum this past Monday. 110-54, the final score. Big time performance by the Crimson Tide. Now, this opponent was outmatched. UNC, I was there. UNC Asheville had a couple players, but they had no chance of winning this game. It was a blowout from the very beginning. Mark Sears, no surprise, led the way in scoring with 20 points. But, John, there were 7 players in double figures. LeBaron Philon, the freshman guard, was fantastic. 9 assists in his first college game ever. And Cliff Amori, the transfer from Rutgers, who's going to be in the paint protecting the rim, he went 16 and 8, 16 points, 8 rebounds. Looked good, this team did, John.
You know, Chase, it's been a while, and we talked about it. The hype was there last year. The team performed well last year. Now, this year, we're ready. We're ready. We think we got a great product to put on the court. We're ready for this. We're ready for this. There's going to be some up and down, but, man, this is the best basketball team coming out the gate that we've ever had at Alabama, I think.
One thing I've noticed about these last couple of Nate Oates teams, this year's team, I'll say it about this team already, even though they've only played one game, and last year's and the year before. Nate Oates can bring in a lot of depth. He doesn't have a weak bench. This is 3 years in a row where his bench has been phenomenal. There's going to be a lot of talent coming off the bench for this team, John. It's going to be hard to get people minutes, but Alabama's going to be able to withstand an injury or two because they're going to have guys sitting on the bench that can come in and get the job done.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, lots more to get to here on this edition of Crimson Cover. The SEC cracking down on fake injuries. We will touch on that. We'll get to the picks contest and plenty more.
You can't do that.
You're watching CCTV on WVUA 23.
That's part of the game,
no,
Chase.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
Better late than never for you and me.
It's good to know that in this impersonal world, there's still a local home-owned drugstore that can take full care of you and your family. The good folks at Northport Pharmacy. Owner and pharmacist Rob Colburn will personally see that all of your prescriptions are quickly and accurately filled and your questions answered. And
And be sure to check out their gift gallery for the finest in gift selections featuring Alabama merchandise, photo frames, children's clothing, beachwear, jewelry, and more. Remember, when you have pharmaceutical needs, see the man who will take the time to get to know you. Rob Colburn at Northport Pharmacy, located next to CC's Pizza, Highway 82 in Northport. Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its third generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
Take care of business, fellas. Hey, ladies.
Hey, one for each of us. Ooh, and one for Denise.
Tired of missing out on your local news? Not anymore with the WVUA 23 News mobile app. Get the latest headlines in just a swipe. Breaking news, in-depth analysis, and live updates at your fingertips. Customize your feed based on your interests, sports, weather, entertainment, and more. Never miss a beat with personalized notifications. WVUA 23 News mobile app. Your town, your news, your app. Download on iOS and Android.
When cases go cold, police find a way.
Join us on the next Bloodline Detectives.
Saturday at 6 p.m. on WVUA 23.
Welcome back into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. Our final segment brought to you by Crimson Village, the most active and fun-loving aging adult community in Tuscaloosa. The residents get the finest when it comes to dining and lifestyle experience, super amenities as well, and a great location. Crimson Village offers its seniors 3 levels of care, including the Tide Memory Care Program. And when it comes to COVID-19, they take the highest of precautions. Jonica Ward is who you want to call, the transition specialist, at 632-6699 if you've got a loved one in need of assisted care. Or you can go online, visit crimsonvillage.com, and be sure to remember Crimson Village owns fun. John, we're going to own fun here in this final segment, starting with this new crackdown by SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. He's tired of the fake injuries. He's tired of he's tired of his league looking ridiculous on TV on Saturdays with defensive players falling down like they have cramps when they really don't. You can even see it being signaled from the sideline sometimes. It's pretty bad. There you see one that doesn't. There you see the one that doesn't look so good for Alabama either. Alabama is not a big offender, but that didn't look good, certainly. Ole Miss, definitely one of the schools in the league that pretty clearly engaged in this behavior. What about it, John?
Man, if you have played any meaningful football on any level, maybe except Pee Wee, any meaningful football, that is part of the game. You're going to do that as a defensive coordinator.
Come on.
To slow down a fast-moving offense, to change momentum a little bit. When I was playing in Cincinnati, we was playing the Baltimore Ravens, and they was a fast-paced offense. The coach would point at a guy, and we would fall down and act like we had a cramp. And one time, about 4 guys fell down at the same time. But it have always been a part of the game. Now, I think now it's getting way out of hand. I mean, Lane Kiffin used it like a timeout. He got guys, 10 guys falling down, injured a quarter. I think that's ridiculous, but it have always been a part of the game. Always.
Just because, I'm going to disagree with you, just because it's always been a part of the game doesn't mean it's a good part of the game. To me, it's a bad part of it. Get rid of it. Get it out. I think football's a better game without it.
Yeah, because you never played.
Baloney, I played high school football. That's not enough for you, I know.
If you played football, you would totally understand why that is happening.
At my high school, we didn't do that. We didn't do that in my high school.
How many games y'all win?
Not many. Not many. All right, here's the fine structure, the penalty structure, I should say, coming down from Greg Sankey. First offense, $50,000 fine. Second offense, a $100,000 fine. Third offense, head coach suspended, and any staffer who signals a fake injury from the sideline, for instance, or is found to be involved in any way can also be suspended. And the way they're going to judge it, John, is the National Coordinator of Officials, Steve Shaw. All you got to do is send him a tape, and as the SEC may send that tape, maybe the opposing team.
Look.
And let me get to the period now. If Steve Shaw is going to look at the video, not just of the player, but also the sideline, because there's sideline video too. And if he says more likely than not this was probably a fake injury, that counts on the fine structure.
Listen, Chase, that is going to be hard to police. I'm telling you, these guys are some of the brainiacs. These offensive coordinators and coaches in college football you have no idea how smart these guys are. There are signals probably built in now that the fines are coming down to do that. So that's going to be hard to police.
All right, we got to fly through the rest of our final segment here. We go around the SEC really quickly. 3 big scores from last week. Georgia knocks off Florida 34-20. Gators hung around for a while.
They did.
Lost their quarterback, though, and it got away from them late. South Carolina, big surprise, blows out Texas A&M 44-20. And Vanderbilt, 17-7 at Auburn. The Commodores.
First time they ever beat Auburn.
Getting it done as well. All right, the Crimson Cover ticker now. Little news around the NFL. Colts center Ryan Kelly and Vikings kicker Will Reichert both go on injured reserve. They'll both miss 4 games. Bengals wide receiver Jermaine Burton designated inactive for disciplinary reasons. He's a rookie. Played at Alabama for 2 years, Nick Saban's last 2 years.
Nasty, baby.
Finally, Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts, 234 yards passing, couple of touchdowns, ran for 61 in a win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, we got 1 minute to go on the picks, John.
Hurts is playing great, by the way.
Yes, he is. He's having a fine year. Picks contest. Last week, John and I both went 4-1. I'm still a couple games out front. You're running out of time, John, to catch up here. Alabama at LSU. Who do you like?
Bama.
I like Alabama as well. Georgia at Ole Miss. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Give me the Dogs. I like Georgia there.
I'm with you.
All right, we both like Georgia. South Carolina on the road at Vandy.
Give me South Carolina.
You like South Carolina? You know what? I like South Carolina too. Oklahoma at Missouri. Who you like there?
Oklahoma.
I'm gonna go Missouri just to go against you. And then Florida at Texas, real quick.
Go against me again.
I gotta
like
go.
Texas.
We gotta go.
I like Texas. Go against me
We
again.
both like Texas. For John, I'm Chase. We'll see you next time on Crimson Cover.
It's good to know that in this impersonal world, there's still a local home-owned drugstore that can take full care of you and your family. The good folks at Northport Pharmacy. Owner and pharmacist Rob Colburn will personally see that all of your prescriptions are quickly and accurately filled and your questions answered. And be sure to check out their gift gallery for the finest in gift selections featuring Alabama merchandise, photo frames, children's clothing, beachwear, jewelry, and more. Remember, when you have pharmaceutical needs, see the man who will take the time to get to know you. Rob Colburn at Northport Pharmacy, located next to CC's Pizza, Highway 82 in Northport.
To Baseball Country, a ministry in West Alabama that reaches far outside the diamond. We create opportunities for people of all ages and backgrounds to encounter Jesus. From baseball and softball training for high school to the big leagues, to men's and women's team sports camps, men's and women's ministry, youth mentored hunts, service projects, custom retreats, and so much more. If you want to get in the game, email sam@baseballcountry.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
It's time to talk with your doctor about your risk for chronic kidney disease, CKD. If you have high blood pressure or diabetes, or if you smoke, you are at risk for CKD.